Guys, this is the 6th event for the KiS events, and it's funny because I've been doing this for so many months already. No matter where I go, and people ask me, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, I usually tell them my full-time job, I'm a flight attendant, but I also tell them like, yeah, I have a platform for something I call KiS events. And I swear to you, every single time I say it, this is the reaction I usually get. People look at me like, KiS events? I go, yeah, KiS events. And people are like, so you like talk about kissing? And I go, no, I don't talk about kissing at all. But this is the image people usually get when I talk about my KiS events, and it's not that at all. Because even though people are interested, even though they don't want to act like they're interested, it's about keeping it simple. And keeping it simple is my motto that I really believe in, because if you want to do something and you go the complicated route, I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes you might get confused, you might get lost, and you might retreat back home where things are simpler. So that's why the name came about, that's why I put this picture up, and I really believe in making that angle on everything that we pursue. But today, when it comes to language learning, I want to ask a few of you that will volunteer which language you're learning and why you're learning it. So if there's one of you that can volunteer, and if not, I will kindly pick on you. So you can't put your head down and eat the empanada while I'm saying it. Who here is learning a language that wants to share that you're learning that language? Come on, guys.
Let me get it over with.
So, may I ask your name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, and which language are you learning?
Starting with Greek.
Starting with Greek. So, do you mind if I ask you, what is the main reason you're learning Greek?
Because my father was Greek, I was brought up with the language, the culture. I wanted to know the rest of my background, people, the culture, the food. And never had the opportunity.
So now it's something dear to you, something that's in you from an emotional perspective. Intrinsic reason, you would say, right?
Well, that's the primary reason.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing, everyone. Can we give her a round of applause? It's very easy. So everyone always, I know the feeling, guys, because when I was sitting there in other presentations in life, I'm always the guy who's putting my head down, trying to eat the empanada, and I'm trying to like, don't look at me, I'm eating your empanada you got, don't eat, don't call me. So I know the feeling, so thank you for sharing. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, there is no simple equation like E equals MC squared. Einstein came up with this, right? There is no simple equation on how to learn a new language, but I did come up with one, and it's not as profound as, figuring out how the universe works and what gravity is, but it is something that really is something that works with me. So here's my equation, and it's rather simple, because, this is called keep it simple, right? So this is my KiS method. Your reason why, which for her comes from an internal, intrinsic reason of family history, knowing the language that is a part of her blood. That's the first part of the equation. And then you multiply it by time. Because as much time you put into it, is as much you're gonna get out, right? But this is where things get tricky, guys. You divide it by distractions. Man, those distractions are everywhere. But if you have a small distraction number, it will equal success. So that's the equation. We're going to see this equation a couple more times throughout this. So it sounds easy, right? If you look at the bottom, it's a trick question. Because if you look closely at this, it's not that easy. It's not that easy like that equation. Because everywhere we go, there's a distraction. Everywhere we go, there's a phone ringing, a doorbell ringing, your wristband telling you that you reached the maximum amount of goal steps, so you have that day. There's always a different distraction. Someone else screaming like, talk to me, listen to me, advertisement, it's everywhere. So this sign is really what we're going through. And that, when you divide all those hours that you put into your language, all those hours that you research why you're learning that language, and then you divide it, and it doesn't come out to the number that you want, then it's going to be a little bit of an unsuccessful feeling that you don't want to experience. So that's why I was really focused on something that I find to be the most important message of everything that I've ever done in my life, and it's starting with yourself. Because those distractions are going to be there. There's not even a doubt about it. In this life, those distractions are there. Your phone is there, your TV's there, your family's there. So not that they're a negative distraction, but they are part of your life. But if you have one thing, it's called self-discipline, which the synonym, in my opinion, is self-love. Any distraction won't enter your realm because you're already focused on what you need to do. Because you already know your why. You're already focused on how important it is. And you know your schedule, which is 24 hours a day, 8 hours to sleep, maybe 3 hours to commute, 8 hours to get back to work. You know your schedule. If you can figure out that time slot and making sure that you are self-disciplined, which also means that you have enough self-love to keep true to what you said you're going to do, then I really believe that divided distraction portion, the equation, won't affect you. And I'll show you a couple of examples why. So this is my logo, KiS, K-I-S. And we're going to go with 3 characters today. The first character is K for Kelly Kapowski, for anyone who knows Kelly Kapowski. I is for Ivan, and S is for Sam. And we're going to go over these 3 characters, starting with Kelly. This is Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell. She's a famous actress in this TV show, and this is just my example for you guys. Kelly Kapowski is a college student. She loves traveling, and she loves being immersed in the culture. She loves eating with the people. She loves living in their homes, maybe volunteering. She loves that type of enjoyment for her traveling. She speaks English, but she dreams to speak Portuguese. That is what Kelly's dream is, okay? Now, we take this and we put it in the equation. Kelly's why is intrinsic. She loves the human connection. Now let's multiply it by time. She's a college student, so maybe before her finals and her midterm she has time, but in the summer, Kelly has a lot of time. She works a part-time job. So these 2 first portions you see, thumbs up. She's definitely okay. Now when it comes to distractions, she hangs out with her friends. They want to hang out every night. She's in college. She wants to go crazy. Or Girls Gone Wild. Get cool. This is things that happen. I know it's not the perfect audience, but my point is the distractions are there because she's a millennial. And millennials are even more connected with their 12 tablets, their watches, their phones. They are always on something. But I have a good feeling about Kelly, guys. I really believe that she will succeed because she has a strong intrinsic reason and she doesn't have an excuse for time. But when it comes to the distractions, that's got to be something up to her. Let's move on to the next character. I for Ivan. This is actually a picture of my friend Ivan. And Ivan works full-time for the government, and sometimes he actually has to work overtime. He's a family guy. He has 2 kids. He does extracurricular activities for the kids. He finds inspiration from different cultures. The way people do things, the way people actually hug each other. I mean, in Ethiopia, men hold each other's hands as a sign of true friendship. There's like different ways, and he just loves seeing how other people do things. And he shares that with his family, shows them pictures. He speaks English and Spanish, which is his little advantage. He knows how to connect with different people in different languages. But he dreams to speak Arabic because he loves the different Arabic cultures that he has friends from Egypt. So this is Ivan, okay? Now let's put the equation again. Would you all say that he has a pretty intrinsic reason to learn the language? Yes or no? Yeah, right? He loves cultures. He likes the way that people do different things. When it comes to time, does Ivan look like a person who has a lot of time? Yes or no?
No.
He has a full-time job. He can make him work extra when there are tough days. He also has 2 kids. So that might be a difficult one, right? And when it comes to distractions, just like everyone, it depends on the individual. But one thing Ivan has the advantage of is that he knows time management to a T because of his lifestyle. So you may think that time might be an issue, and you might believe that. Yeah. But there's something I want to ask you guys. Who here commutes to and from work? Maybe 20 minutes or more to and from work. Raise your hand. 20 minutes to go to and from work? A few of you. Well, Ivan, he he takes about 30 minutes to get to work, sometimes 40, and sometimes 40 minutes to get back. That's 80 minutes. So from his perspective, he can learn during the commute. He can figure out some of the common phrases that he can absorb, and maybe even hire a teacher to talk to him just through the voiceover, through the phone, just to get that for his car ride. Now this is just an example of how you can always find time. Because he's not going to come up with an excuse. Ivan's going to succeed if he really wants to. And then let's go for S, for Slimy Sam. Guys, I don't really like Slimy Sam that much. Slimy Sam is a tech guy. He loves chasing women. He's very superficial. He speaks English and he dreams to speak Spanish so he can be a Colombian girl. He's slimy. He's like, his main reason is because he wants a woman. And he doesn't want her to like marry, like he's like just wants to have a party night. When it comes to Slimy, I don't even want to look at this image, sorry, it's so creepy. So when it comes to Slimy Sam, would you say that his reason, his why, is strong or weak?
Weak.
No, strong. Strong, but for first 10 words.
Yeah, it's strong for like, if you want a beer. So he'll learn how to do you want a beer really quick, but you're right, it made for that, but when it comes from trying to fulfill a deeper connection with that language, like you said, it's probably not. So his one part is weak. When it comes to time, he knows how to download things. He's pretty tech savvy. He knows how to get different programs. And he's also a gym buff because he wants to look strong and he wants to impress women. So he knows a lot about time management. But his why is still weak. And when it comes to distractions, he's a party guy because he wants to go out and meet that Colombian girl at a party, right? So in my opinion, I'm not sure if Slimy Sam is going to get what he wants. Because he doesn't come from a genuine place, in my opinion. To be honest with you, when it comes to all three, I don't know because they're all made up characters. But when it really comes down to is if they can make sure your why is strong enough, which you already do have. And when it comes to time, every single one of us has 24 hours a day. It's not like you just because you're from Croatia, you have 25 hours. No, we all have 24 hours. But if we make use of our time correctly, going back now to self-discipline, which again is a synonym for self-love, and dedicate it to us, those hour slots, whether you're doing a 30-minute commute, or whether you're Kelly trying to study between classes, the idea is that you are a priority too. And if your language learning is a priority, you should make it one that comes first before, let's say, something else. So I want to be honest with everyone. I was once all three. No, I wasn't a woman. No, I wasn't Slimy Sam, but I had ingredients of all three. I was a college person who was always wandering, and I tried to figure out what to study. And I was also, I am really a family guy, so sometimes I'm always with my family that I just lose track of time. And when it comes to Slimy Sam, I wasn't a woman hunter like that, in that sense, but I was someone who did learn French for an extrinsic reason. And I'll be transparent with everyone in here. I learned French because I wanted to get a position at my job where I can get the flights to France. I'm a flight attendant. And I did it for an extrinsic reason. I did it for money, and I did it for also kind of like another language under my belt. I'll be honest with you. If you ask me right now to speak French, it'll be the weakest of all my languages. And that's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that French is the worst language I speak. Because it didn't come from an intrinsic reason. It came from this, I want another language for my company. I want it because I can tell other people I speak another language. But look what it has done. I wasted 1 year. Maybe I could say I'm conversational, but it didn't come from a pure place. So I know what all three of these characters are going through. And I think you can relate to them as well when it comes to time, when it comes to finding your why, when it comes to distractions. But what I really want to talk to you guys about is that distraction part. I have a question for you. Marcelo, let's say you promised a friend that you were going to pick them up at the airport when they landed. They said their plane lands at 4 o'clock. You said, I'll be there around 4:30 because you got to get your bags, right? So Marcelo's like, no problem, I'm going to pick you up. Marcelo, is there any reason that you would miss the appointment to pick them up at 4:30, unless it was an emergency? You would pick them up, yes or no? Yeah, you made an appointment. Meaning you want to be reliable, right? Unless you don't pick them up, that makes you kind of a bad friend. But I look at you, you have kind eyes, you look like a good friend. Marcelo's a good friend to this person who needs to be picked up at the airport, which is great. But what about when it comes to ourselves? And I'm sorry if this hurts anyone, but I needed to hear this years ago. And I'm not sure if this relates to you, but this is one of my messages that I want to share. What about when it comes to an appointment with yourself? Now, you can't really pick up yourself up at the airport, I know. But what you could do is make an appointment with yourself. And it says over here, it says, stay true to yourself. I made it a point to be studying Polish every single day. Before you guys came here, I studied Polish. Because I have to practice what I preach. If I'm going to be here preaching to you all about learning languages and studying every day, I got to preach it. I got to practice it because I'm preaching. But more importantly, it's something that I did for myself. You can go pick up your friend. What about me? What am I going to do for myself? Now, this talk of self-love doesn't come from a selfish place. It comes from the place that you must consider yourself in the things before you do for others. One of my closest friends said to me, I'm like, how do people get in relationships and if they don't love themselves, how do they give love? And he said it straight up. He goes, you can't give what you don't got. And he said, you cannot give what you don't have. And it made so much sense because I didn't hear it before. I am definitely one of the people who lack self-love. And I honestly learned through the steps I've been taking, which is a daily process, to make sure, not that I'm first, but I have to put my oxygen mask on first before I can put it on someone else. Nadia and I are flight attendants, and we both promote it on the plane. When you're sitting down, you have to watch the safety video. You'll notice that they say, in case of an emergency in the decompression, please put your mask on first before you put it on others. And they have a little child there waiting to put their oxygen mask on. Smile. They're not smiling in real life, by the way. But in this example, I need to be fully filled with oxygen before I can help others. And it's like that appointment with yourself. And when it comes to language learning, when it comes to goals, when it comes to a career, how can I help others unless I help myself first? So when it comes to making that appointment, I do it every single day. I make a point. It sounds funny, like, oh, I have an appointment. And my mom was like, with who? I go, well, myself. And she's like, oh, my son's acting weird again. But I make it a point, because if I don't make an appointment with myself, no one's going to make that appointment with me to study Polish. If I don't make an appointment with myself to meditate, there's not going to be someone knocking on the door like, Francesco, you got to meditate today. No. I have to be in charge of my own planning. Because if I'm not doing well, my mom's not doing well. I can't give to my mom. I can't give to my fiance. So when it comes to this appointment setting, I'm a firm believer of daily appointments for myself when it comes to learning Polish. Because I volunteer at a hospital for kids with cancer in Poland. And if I don't speak Polish well enough, I don't connect with the kids. But more importantly, I'm not helping out. So if I'm not well with my Polish, I'm not able to help out and make the moment better with them. That example really hit me hard. And I know for a fact that it's part of the reason I'm growing as an individual, but also as a language learner. The main point of this speech, to be honest with you, is that anyone can do anything. I remember when I was young, I used to watch this on TV. People used to always say it. You can do anything you want to, son. You just got to put your mind to it. And when I heard these words, I'm like, I don't even know where to start. But now that I've grown, I'm not saying I know it all, but I have learned one thing. If I love myself enough, I can figure it out, and I can do anything I want. In October, I had a fear of public speaking. I really didn't believe I could do anything like this. But after self-development, after soul-searching deep down, I'm standing in front of you guys. I don't know how. I do know how. I made appointments with myself. I made sure that I was my priority, because then everyone else could be also helped out better. So this is just a quick little list that I came up with, was love yourself. Find your reason why, which thank you for sharing. Self-discipline is the outcome of these two above. And never ever give up, because at the end, you'll be able to converse and connect with another human being in that language, or pursue the goal that you really want to do. I'd like to end with a quote from Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Again, ask me in October if you could do public speaking. I'm like, I can't do that. I'll be shaking up there, guys. I'll probably fall, collapse, have a heart attack. I'm gonna be honest with you, that's how I thought. Ask me in December when I decided I was gonna dedicate my life to this. I said, hell yeah, I can do public speaking. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're absolutely right. I can't change your mind, only you yourself. Thank you guys.